Large crowds, haircuts, birthday parties, jeans, button-down shirts, and certain foods, all overwhelming. Sensory processing disorder symptoms can be such a challenge for kids, and when they suffer, we suffer. So if you have a child who's easily overwhelmed in large crowds, is always touching everything, or doesn't pick up on social cues or understand personal space, not only can it be frustrating, but absolutely heartbreaking to watch them struggle with these stressful sensory situations. There is not a one-size-fits-all for sensory processing challenges, but SPD is a condition that affects how the brain and the nervous system process stimuli. It can affect all 5 of the general senses, including touch, smell, seeing, tasting, and hearing. And if your child struggles with SPD, you already know its effects. So in this video, we're going to look at the root causes and the specific tests that we can use to measure the struggle. Yes, you heard that right. There's actually a test that we used to quantify it. And then, even more importantly, get to work helping make the sensory processing system more comfortable and able to handle stimuli. This video today is for moms and dads who want to dive deeper into how to help their child with sensory struggles. Most likely, you've tried therapies and diets, and you often avoid situations that are difficult altogether or to no or little avail. So let's dig into the science behind the real root causes of sensory processing disorder. There's actually 2 different kinds of sensory processing challenges. The first is sensory avoiding. These kids do not want to be touched. And then there's sensory seeking, and these kiddos are always in need of stimulation. But the real kicker is that kids, they can have both types of sensory challenges. So to find the root cause of these struggles, we have to go all the way back to your child's development, often even before delivery. And one of the very first things to develop in utero is the brain and the autonomic nervous system. So if our mothers are left in a constant state of distress and anxiety, this can greatly affect the developing infant's brain and nervous system. Another trigger is birth intervention and birth trauma caused by forceps use, vacuum extraction, inductions, C-sections, etc., which can disrupt the function of the brainstem and the upper cervical spinal cord regions, which they are the most important areas for processing and integrating sensory information before it gets to the brain. So think of the brainstem as air traffic control for all of your child's 7 senses, where it's responsible for not only organizing and processing information, but also keeping out any unwanted, excessive, or annoying information. This unwanted and annoying information is known as nociception, and the reason that your child may be avoiding certain stimuli is because their body is innately trying to avoid that additional noisy and stressful situation that they can't yet tolerate. On another note, if they're seeking, constantly moving and seeking out physical touch and stimulation, they are doing so in order to bring about what's called proprioception, which is the sense of movement. So while it might not seem like it, all of that movement and touching that these kiddos seek is actually calming to their brains. It's one thing to talk through why this is happening, but more importantly, how do we help it? So the nervous system is a 2-way street. One set of nerves is called sensory nerves, and they send information to the brain and brainstem about precisely what's going on inside the body, but also outside the body. The other set of nerves is more of what's termed motor control nerves that send signals out from the brain and spinal cord and tell the various parts of the body what to do, when to do it, how to do it. As parents, we measure these systems through the symptoms that they produce, but this often doesn't tell the whole story of what's going on inside the body and within the nervous system. This is why taking a test to look under the surface is so incredibly important with children who struggle with SPD. The best part is this test, it can be done very easily and comfortably, and it's conducted in our office, and it consists of 3 different neurosensory scans called INSiGHT scans. They are all about finding, tracking, and understanding if subluxation and dysautonomia are present. And if they are, we need to know 2 things about them. First, how significant or severe is it? Is it mild, moderate, severe, or is it an intensive case? And then second, where within the neurospinal system is the dysfunction located? Think of the neurospinal system as the fuse box in your home. So while our nervous system, it's quite a bit more intricate and complex than that, many of the sensory and motor nerves function similarly. In our office, we use the neurofuse chart to help us better track and locate where and what kind of trouble that subluxation and dysautonomia may be causing. So making sure this system is working at full function is simply the most important exam and assessment that any pediatric provider could ever perform for a child who struggles with sensory processing challenges. Put simply, if the nervous system isn't calm on the inside, sensory symptoms will show up on the outside. In just 10 to 15 minutes, these safe, non-invasive scans can find, measure, and locate subluxation in your child's autonomic nervous system. These scans help us put together a customized care plan that fits your child's exact needs and will start to restore function and balance to the autonomic nervous system. This is the missing link that you've been looking for to help your child with their sensory processing challenges.